Coach, just what was your reaction, going through the process and hearing that you had heard that you were coming here?
Well, I mean, gave me some information. Jen T gave me information on Wednesday night. I said, all right, just give me till the morning to sleep on it. We're at Durham getting ready to play at Duke. So you think Robin slept that night? She didn't. But I woke up in the morning and said, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So it was easy decision once I got the offer. I didn't want to get my hopes up because I didn't want to be like, oh man, I didn't get the job, because I wanted this job. And then, had to coach for 4 or 5 days knowing that I was probably coming here. But when I got to campus, I was just overwhelmed. Walking in the hallways, in the locker room, in the lounge, the offices, like I could live in my office right now. It is beautiful. And, I don't have to do any of that. It's already here. It's already in place for me. So I knew, now I know I can be successful.
A little different of a town than Charleston, South Carolina. A little different weather-wise. Have you been here before? What are your thoughts on the actual city?
Well, I'm from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I've been to Pittsburgh many a times. I visited. I did a tour 10 years ago just because I like to go to ACC schools, see what they have, and I was impressed then, and never really thought I could get a job like this where, you have the support from your administration, from your boosters. We just got to get the fans in the gym to see us play, because that's how I kind of built a program at Charleston. Once I got them to come watch us, I hooked them. And it's mostly all the men's fans, because I think women can't play basketball, but we can. And just get them to come in here, and then we have everything we need. We just need to get people in that gym cheering, and we as coaches will do the job as far as recruiting and getting the right type of players in here that fits our system, that fits Pitt University, and they represent, themselves, Pitt University, and us as a team.
So, Robin, when they come, what are they going to see?
Look out. They're going to be really surprised when they come. Just seeing what the city is like, seeing what campus is. And, I only know parts of it right now, but I just know it's gorgeous. And then our style of play, we recruit kids that fit us. And it's great. You get to go shoot as many threes as you want, run up and down the floor, play a lot of defense. They don't like that part right away, but they'll learn to love the full court defense, quarter court defense, and that just gives us more opportunities to score and be successful. And obviously you have to recruit people who can put the ball in the basket as well.
How are the meetings with the returning team?
I just met with them yesterday as a group, and then today I'm going to meet with them individually to see, where they're at and see what's going on there.
You mentioned you're an old school type coach. I'm curious what your philosophy is. Are you more of a tough love kind of coach? What can we see?
Well, I think that when I say I'm an old school coach, I still want them to be respectful to everybody, whether it's the janitor or the president or the chancellor of the university, all the way down. We get up from a 20-seat table, I want them to push their chairs in. Just be on time. If you have an 8 o'clock appointment, you're there at 7:45. If you're late, you have a phone, you can call, because it's getting them ready for the real world, what it's going to be like when they get that job. So that's really why I say I'm an old school coach. I think that if the kids know that they care about you off the court, when you're there to help them, show them love, and then on the court, between those lines, you can really be tough on them then. But it can't work where you're tough on them and then they figure out later that you love them. You have to love them up first. They know where you're coming from. You communicate with them. They don't have to wonder, what's coach thinking? What's coach thinking? And a lot of kids way back in the day would say, coach doesn't play me because they don't like me. Coaches need to win, and they're going to play the devil if they have to get the W. So that's something that they can't pull over on me. But it's just getting to know them, relating to their families, to their parents, and then my assistant coaches as well, have a good relationship with them. If you recruited them and you take care of them, you can push them harder on the floor. And it's been kind of my old school mentality that I think helps that. I look like I'm a really mean person, but inside I'm have a big heart. I had a roll of 4 toilet paper, which I'll eventually put in my office, and my kids from St. Thomas got it for me in one of those little bodega grocery stores, and it says Harmony, soft and strong. Like, it's really me, because I have a really big heart, and I'm a soft-hearted, but I'm really strong. So when you look at me first, you're like, oh wait, I don't want to mess with that girl. She might, get me. But it's part of my stick, I guess, that I'm successful with. I'm a real person. I'm not fake. I'm not gonna, be nice to you and then blow you off. I want to be that. That's just me. It's tenfold. I think if you're a nice person, if you're a good person, it comes back to you so many times. And nobody wants to be around a jerk. So that's kind of been my philosophy as old school, and be that person and let people know what they can expect.
Robin, you talked about your desire for a one-time transfer rule, but how have you adapted to a college sports world where that's not the case?
Well, you just have to, it's you can't take it personally. You know that kid wants to be where they want to be, and I can only coach the willing. So it's just a matter of them coming here, they like it, or wherever, and they want to stay. But kids, when you put them through adversity, they've been sort of trained that way. Their high school coach, their AAU coach pretty much lets them do whatever they want. And then when we tell them, no, that's not your shot, you have to do it this way, they might get frustrated. But, it's just a matter of sticking with the system. And if they stay, that's great. If they don't, that's also great, because you can really only coach the willing.
When you told your players and your team you're at Charleston that you got the job, what was their reaction?
I mean, they're happy for me because they know that this is what I want to do. I think a lot of them, I don't know if I stayed, I think they would have stayed, but now a lot of them are going in the transfer portal.
What was the experience like this past season, just taking a team to the tournament for the first time, I believe, in program history? And just in a nutshell, just what do you feel like the recipe for success for you guys was last season?
Well, that was 40 years since they've really won at Charleston NCAA numbers. And for me, I know that the last 3 years we won 23 games, then 25 games, and then 27. And I know it's a building process, but I always kind of just stay steady. I don't want to get too high, get too low. And I had to sell my kids on how great it is to win a championship because they've never done it before. And I know it's really hard to win the regular season because you have to play good basketball for 2.5 months. So we did the hard part. And then the next part was you have to play good basketball for 3 days. And with that, you have to be good and then you have to be lucky. So we were both those times. We were good and lucky. And I just kind of stayed calm because if I would think at my house, like, oh, we're gonna go to the NCAA tournament, I would want to cry. I was like, no, I can't do that. I won't be able to speak to the media. Be so happy. But so I just kind of stayed cool, and then I got that out of my system. And then when we did go to the NCAA tournament, I was prepared for it. I haven't been there as a head coach, but I was there as an assistant and associate head coach. So, I just know that the kids were going to experience something great, and they're not going to ever forget it. We actually had a chance to charter back from Durham, but we would have been in the airport at 8 o'clock when the selection show went off. So I didn't want them to miss that. So we decided to bus back, and then we had it marked out wherever we were, and we stopped in Fredericksburg and did the show at the Buffalo Wild Wings. And that way the kids could see their name pop up and see where they're going. Now, we got home at 5:30 in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, because that was like an 8-hour bus ride, but it was worth it because I knew that they're never going to forget that.
Alan spoke about the financial, picture. What was the discussions like with you about NIL and revenue sharing,
Well, I mean, we spoke about it, what dollars I had to deal with and to work with, which to me, I was still happy because everywhere else I've been, I had to raise my own dollars, and that's really hard to do because you want to sort of just go home and cry because you know that somebody that you've had lunch with, they gave the men $100,000 and they gave me $5,000. I'm thinking, man, I can't do this. I did it last summer twice where I went to sleep frustrated, like, man, I can't do this. I can't look at these parents and these kids in the eyes and say, I didn't come through for you. I went to bed like, I'm quitting. And I woke up the next morning like, nope, they're not getting me. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to just keep pushing through it. New day. But I did do that twice in the summer. So, but it's just how it is. It's just a lot of work to get that money. And when you already have everything in place to help you, it's so much easier. And I mean, I've done locker room, lounges, film rooms, raise money to do things that should be there naturally, but they're not at certain levels.
Robin, and I know you hit on some of these things, but what sold you that you could win here?
Well, I think that Agnes going to Sweet 16 2 years, the facility, the ACC, there are just things that are already in place that you just got to get Jills and Janes. Even if I'm a good coach or I'm a bad coach, if I don't have the players, I'm not going to win. So it was easy, especially when you do the research and see how prestigious the university is academically, and then all the athletic fields and everything that we have here is all top notch. If anybody would ever compare it to other schools, we win. So that was an easy, I'm coming. And it is nice to get back to Pennsylvania. And I'm 3.5 hours away from my Hershey, so that's awesome too.
Is Hershey still home? You consider home?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I haven't been there for a long time, but that's where my mom and sister and brother live. And, for them to be able to come 3.5 hours, I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. I'll let you know later, because they would come to Charleston like twice a year. And now, hey, we're coming this weekend. Hey, we're coming this weekend. What? Can I get a weekend by myself? But, it still is nice that if anybody needs me, I can shoot home, be there in a day, and come back. So it is definitely another plus. And I don't really care about the snow, because whatever. Snow is snow. It's beautiful, and I'm tough, and just keep on driving in it. It'll go away sooner or later.